What's that? Check this out, y'all. I know I always say check this out, y'all, without agreeing. Nevertheless, anyway, there's a couple things that I myself have overlooked, knew, but totally overlooked. Um, know the principles, understand them in metaphysics also. You know what I'm saying? They rooted in metaphysics, rooted in everything that has a true purpose. See, nevertheless, you know, we already understand, and just about overstood that the matronic or the programs that has been handed to us, you know, submitted to us, forced up on us, or or we could say forced up on if we're in the human frame of reference. But if we go into the energy frame of reference, we will understand that it is forces that must take a body, anybody, and utilize it to maintain a polarity or a balance or a chemical imbalance or vice versa in order to um, grow, in order to maintain existence, okay, in a balance that has already been placed and put in proper perspective according to this reality. All right. Now we also understand that the subliminal, as well as the material, as well as um, anything that really could be conceivable in those realms, no matter where there is, where it is, whether it be um, uh, wanting to be a doctor, a lawyer, a rapper, or a teacher. Any of those realms, we already understand the principle and the mechanism and the chemical imbalances that it will create, and the electronic or energetic or spiritual affairs, and it will respond in those same electric manners. Okay, we be speaking about the positive and negative. Nevertheless, let's get to a deeper understanding right here with that in mind. All right, with that in mind, we say, or we come to understand in the matrix, or just thinking about what we see in front of us, like from day on to day out, and hearing everybody, you know, speak on something that they really don't know nothing about, just have been told and showed, viewed, and, you know, became a willful, obedient believer, and will fight you and tell you that you must be out of your mind if you don't understand that they showed this on TV and you stupid for not believing it. Things of this nature. But how deep does that go? Check it out. Um, if we place ourselves outside of this matrix, we must come to some type of agreement about this. We have already come to the understanding that the stuff we see in front of us is a reason why he shows us fake and false things in order to hide something. You know, it's a reason why he say left when it's all the time is right. It's a reason for that, and it's in the nature of magnetics, whether it be electromagnetic or not. It's in that same flip of a pole of a magnet. You know, positive and negative, truth and falsehood strangely mixed. All right. So anyway, we understand that almost all the things that come on TV, through the radio, all the things that's propagated to the curriculum and through the science even, has to have a sway. If you are to protect something, then you can never give up the correct type of schematics upon doing anything. Sure, you can raise the price and make it hard to maintain or try to attain something that you're working on, but you cannot never expose what has been espionage. If you can't make a book without it going to the Pentagon first, come on now. If you can't write a movie without it being okayed through the Pentagon now, come on now. Nevertheless, that's all Matronics, see? I'm not even there. I'm saying we all been there. We all know that. But what is it really saying? Check this out. It's a principle in place that sustains and maintains it for a certain reason. You know, and that reason encapsulates much if one wants to study that. Nevertheless, in the Quran, it's a verse that says, he hides behind falsehood. He hides behind falsehood, right? Speaking on Satan, actually speaking on the balance that's created, all right, with so-called positive and negative, or dark and light, or magnetics, you know, attraction, and then repelling, all right? These laws, we have to come all the way down to this, to the science of the matter and why they exist, why they must be there, all right? Now, until the poles shift, right? Nevertheless, listen. Now, he hides behind falsehoods. So what he projects out there has to be a falsehood in order to control the masses. Remember, they're very little. A little, even out of a little. Even out of a little, and much even littler. You know? So, recruiting is a must. But nevertheless, the truth cannot be recruited. Nevertheless, and it's not through one, two, or three. Okay? It's not through none of that. It is what it is and will be what it is. Nevertheless, all right, he hides behind falsehoods. He has to show us falsehoods. Now, and call or claim them to be truth. Claim it to be the holy gospel. Proclaim it. And its thought, mind, intentions, and science and technologies sits in the place of the controller of the domain, the architect. Nevertheless, nevertheless, he hides behind falsehoods. Let's go to when he show us what he says is fantasy. It says he hides behind falsehood. Now go into fantasy. Go into cartoons. Go into the land or the frequency or the electromagnetic energy that's told and showed to you in fantasy, in the dream world, in the delta state. You ever heard of daydream? Do you know that is channeling? Do you know you are working with energy? Do you know if you knew what you could do? balancing out an equation. Now, in the Matrix, the Oracle was saying to Neo, the one, and the one is always you, not me. It's always you. Everyone is you. It's you are the one. You are the one who has accepted, okay, the frequency expanding, never landing upon shit. Frequency can't land. It cannot be stopped. It goes on forever. Now, understand, all right, that he hides behind falsehoods. These fairy tales, these cartoons that he knows so well, and could put stuff right in front of your face and have you to laugh at it. When you are advancing on your enemy, you must make him think you are advancing from the south when you are actually walking up from the north. Now, that is Sun Tzu, Art of War type of shit. But look at the frequency and the energy and electromagnetics that's involved in that. Okay? He hides behind falsehoods. It's not a he. It's a them. It's a frequency of them. It's not a color. It's one who has accepted without inspecting it. Inspection, you know. They couldn't do a good inspection or research, you know, something in that manner. But frequency as altered, and frequency is raising due to the polarities of electromagnetic energies and the controlling of these positive and negative forces. Okay, positive and negative forces. I'm going to speak about that later, but positive and negative forces, look, your hands, you know the signs, you know what they are. The positive and negative forces, you know, I'm going to get into that later. But if you can envision, you can see what I'll be hollering at you about sooner, more sooner than anything else. All right. So, he hides behind falsehoods. He places the energy and the conception, the actual power that is rooted not in the universe, brother, because he can't reach every place in the universe. Not in the galaxy system, because he can't reach everything in the galaxy system. But you are made from everything in the galaxy. You are the closest. He can touch the moon. He can go to Saturn through your ass. Through parts and particles. Read the articles. They in the paper. They in all types of motherfucking magazines and shit. Nevertheless, and I'm not getting deep as you think because you know this also. I'm not saying something you haven't heard. I'm not making this shit up. Nevertheless, he hides behind falsehoods. See, what he makes you believe, or it's not him though. You gotta understand, it's not a pointing at them and this and that. It's a frequency, but you have to understand, if you heard that the frequency is raising, then that should give you a better equation of the little that you was working with can't even be as little as you thought it was. Nevertheless, you have no fight to fight. I heard a brother today. He was speaking about chess, and he says, in the chess, and I'm gonna repeat what he said, and you know who it is when you hear it, because it was today. Nevertheless, and it's a principle. It's not because he said it, it's a principle. Anybody could have said, but since it was the same day, and I just thought about it, and it fits in, I'll speak it. When you're playing chess, you get a chance to see how your enemy is moving, or how the electromagnetic energies is moving. You get a chance to see how your energy can flow by watching a so-called enemy. Bruce Lee said when they was asking him, they said, "So who's the enemy?" Let me see if this recorded. Okay. So and who is the enemy? He said, "There is no enemy." Okay. So he already had took it down to the energy, and he knew he was playing with energies and how to control these magnetic energy pulses. So it can be negative. I'll get into it, but it's got something to do with the chi. It's got something to do with your thought being positive and negative. But it's not. It's only your thoughts going to activate the feeling that's going to be in the heart, the standing wave. Nevertheless, I'll get to that. But he hides behind these falsehoods. But in the Quran, where it says he hides behind falsehood, it goes on to say, but we hurl truth at falsehood, and it knocks his brains out. Once again, he hides behind falsehoods. Now, see, you remember this. That is on a basic where you can understand it as a so-called human or a so-called being upon this realm that you can see and hear and understand. This is what I'm saying to you. He hides behind falsehoods. We know it is energy here, the promorphosized energy of Jesus. Holographic universe, you don't exist, I don't exist. We are still promorphosized energies. Okay, the atom. He has controlled the forces and disconnect you from all of them with your shoes on, right? Listen, real fast, I hope this don't cut off. The sun gives alpha waves, beta waves, and gamma rays. I mean the moon, and so does the sun. But let's just go with the moon right now. Alpha, beta, and gamma. Alpha waves can be stopped by a piece of paper. Beta waves can be stopped by a piece of clothing. Gamma rays, it takes lead for it to stop. So if we're wearing clothes, guess what? We're not getting no alpha waves. We're not getting no beta waves. We're getting the overload of gamma rays. Now, it's got to be some type of balance, and we're lacking them because we're wearing clothes all the time. That's one of the reasons why you ought to be under the equator, where it is not even recommended that you would. And if you did, you would soon come to realize that that has to go. Something very, 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 just enough would be enough. You understand? Nevertheless, yes. So anyway, he hides behind falsehoods. So when we get to coming out with these so-called thoughts about where your mind actually has teleported itself in a camera, where your mind has teleported itself in some type of computer that you hold in your hand, another iStep or iPhone or iClone. They say ET, phone home. You remember in a lot of these, what's the names, like in, what was it? Total Recall. In the new one, the second one, it was about the same, just had different characters. He was walking around, didn't know he had a phone in his hand. He always had a phone in his hand. All right. Nevertheless, all kind of strange shit back in there. Why did they do that again twice? Nevertheless, Total Recall. Even that's a program. But you have to check out a movie. One picture is 1,000 words. You're looking at 30 frames a second. He hides behind falsehoods. They said the brain could conceive, or let's just say a computer got how many megabytes or all that a second and all that type of stuff. Listen, he shoot 30 frames or more in a second through your shit and have it going in so much that you can remember the beat, the music, the people, the place, the things that was in it. Oh yeah, but did you see that? Bring around that back. Has categorized every thought you could think and made it appear here for reasons you know not. And nevertheless, we'll get farther into this later. But the thing is, he hides behind falsehoods. That which he makes you to believe, you end up believing when he got to, that's why you've been finding out they was hoax. He has to set that in motion. It has to go exactly the fucking way. It can't be one motherfucker that will fuck it up. Nowhere in sight. Where this one is, he's going to have that for that reason and that reason alone. And I'm not saying everything is like that, but if you're looking at the energy, goddammit, then you know it has to be in a controlling manner. And they said the matrix is about control. God dang it. So, hear that. And there's much more to come about that. Nevertheless, we are all here to do what we are all here to do. Okay? You know, if this sound all that kind of what's the name to you and all that, that's cool. It just wasn't for you. It just wasn't for you. Don't worry. And don't be happy. You know what I mean? Be just as righteous as you can. And righteous means whatever you deem necessarily right. And I'm going to kick this in there right because I said that. To clear that up and have you thinking correctly about what is just spoke. Nevertheless, listen. This is the standing wave. You cannot feel that you're doing something wrong. All right? That's why you fear is never here. It can't be. You must handle it in the wise way, no matter what you come into contact with. No matter what you do, you can't feel that you have did and made a mistake. Okay? For real, for real. You don't, first of all, you don't be into no goofy shit. You don't be in, no matter what you do, though. You must love what you do. You must come to understand. You got to. You have to. Because that's the only thing that's going to build this. That's where your energy is coming to. Right here. Right there in the middle. Right? Some say solar plex. When the energy, you look at the energy, Buddha said, look, there is a warrior, and then there's one who's not a warrior. And they have all picked. It's best to be in no thought of being neither one of them. So take that and say, it's a gangster, and it's one who don't or has not been a gangster. It is best to pick neither one of them. It is best to be in the middle. See, it's going to come a time to be anything you need to be. When you identify with something, you actually going to be attempt and grow at to be the best character in that arena. And you're going to do your very best. And it can't be affecting here. It cannot be affecting here, because if it's affecting here, then you're not going to be very good at it. Okay, you're not going to be very good at it. Nevertheless, if a brother, no matter where you at, if you can't at least say, oh, hey, you know what, brother, check it out. We can agree to disagree. I mean, can't we just agree to disagree, brother? We don't have to go no farther than this. Ain't no reason why we got to do anything other than go back in that party and have a good-ass motherfucking time, bro. You know why? Because tomorrow, we both gonna get up and we both gonna do exactly what we did before. Ain't no more, you know what I'm saying? We working on, you know, whether you know it or not, brother, it's a lot of changes going on, and it looks good for us, man. And if you say something like that to the next one who has had that frequency, first of all, you should guard where you allow your frequencies, um, guard your own frequency, and try to maintain and sustain your best position where you can maintain, you know what I mean, your peace and harmony. Don't continue to assault yourself unnecessarily. I mean, for real, for real. It's not necessary. I mean, just recognize it. Nevertheless, if you could say that to anything, if you could say that to any one of us, any frequency that comes about, any obstacle, all right, you must go around the obstacle, back to the chest. That's what I had left. All right. He's speaking on the chess. Those who play chess. When you play chess, you can see your enemy doing something. Now it's cool because you can choose to respond. You can choose to move and counter what he has done. Meaning, you can go around it, through it, over the top of it, but you don't let it become a problem to you. And it has become a problem to our people. And we're trying to go around this mountain. You can go to go around the mountain means something in itself. You know, some people trying to dig through. Some people got stuck on the mountain. You know, go tell it on the mountain. You know, check this out. They stuck on the mountain. You know, nevertheless, he hides behind falsehood. So a lot of these, what he claims to be fairy tales and folklores and stuff like that, is hidden energy right before your face. And your energy is not going to come from the technology that he creates. Your energy is already inside of you. Focus, unplug from that which you see. Stop letting 30 frames of bullshit set your mind against your own self. Every time you walk and get information from people, I mean, I can't, it's becoming, I've been dealing with shit like that so much I had to adjust myself in a manner that was necessary. And I had to learn that I couldn't, I learned in the manner in which I was going about um, um, the frequencies that I did not agree with. Not conforming, but yet becoming a higher energy along with that energy. You know, I wanted to go into free radicals and what they is because I heard Carol Barnes say some stuff. And I want to apologize. A long time ago, I think I was like 18 or 22 or something like that. And I got locked up in the county jail, and I had my mother at the time to send me Melanin, the Chemical Key to Black Greatness by Carol Barnes. And I thought it was a woman. I just heard the Carol Barnes. And I made a couple videos that said that uh, in my speak and what was said, I denoted him as a woman. I apologize about that. I just want to straighten that out. But nevertheless, um, the Chemical Key to Black Greatness, it is also a program because it's kept on a level. But that level is much deeper even than the level it's telling you. It's sustaining the energy that's in you. It's sustaining your own technology. It is giving you the okay. Them 30 frames that you put in has to be your imagination. Them 30 frames that you get put in got to be, some dedication into something totally different. Something totally different in the shit that he called fantasy and um, um, non-fiction. Crap, cartoons. Something that he gonna spin and put science NASA scientists and so-called, I mean, just peculiar people, man. You don't even see that in the shit they give you. Yeah, you're gonna see it sometimes depending on who made the movie. But I'm talking about in this day shit. The shit that they give you, love and hip hop and goofy shit like that. I don't even know what they got out. People say, man, I know you heard what's it ain't new. I said, and these are people that I just happen to see or through assisting them in some kind of way, you know, say some shit like that. Man, nah, they're like, man, I know you, because I don't get involved in trying to explain myself unless someone open the door and say, meaning open the door here, their door, and say, hey, come on in with that shit. You know what I mean? What? You know what I mean? And a lot of times it's not even there. There's no door present at times, and that's cool. I ain't got a problem with it. I learned to be like that. Be quiet, sit back, shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. If I must be in the presence. Nevertheless, he hides behind these falsehoods, y'all. You knew this. So, the whole flip and kick of the whole matter is this. He's going to show you the main characters in the game he played, whether it be football, but not saying the actual football game, the way it's played, a quarterback, a wide receiver, and all that type of shit. It's going to be shows like that. And it's going to all be keyed in on a playbook where it's all going to lead in to certain shit, and it's going to program your ass in 30 frames in a second. You ain't going to have no goddamn idea. And then he's going to put the truth about how he did it and the reactors and what type of vibranium, vibe, brain, a vibrant brain, vibranium. It's he hides behind falsehoods. All right, y'all. More to come. More to come forward.